Gypsy Rose is spiraling. Watch this.
So you want me to take my shit down, right? Okay, how about you quit talking about me? It's been 3 fucking months since I texted you. And you're spiraling out of control. So just remember, just as much dirt as you have on me, I have on you, honey. You punch at me, I punch back 10 times harder. Go see a therapist.
Okay, who is this? What character is this? And it borderline seems inappropriate. Or is it just me? So if you missed the beginning of the crash out spiral, follow this comment. It'll take you right there. It's not going to be good because look at how she acts on supervision. GRB has no regard for authority, rules, and has zero boundaries. No, it won't be good at all.
Who is that character, hubby? Who is it?
WWGB.
What is that? WWGB. What do you mean?
Whiny wannabe ghetto baby.
No.
Kind of saw that in the comments.
No, we seen a comment where somebody said ghetto baby. Well, in our previous video, the one we done about Ryan and what she posted about Ryan, we seen someone say, cause she's got this baby voice going on with, I don't know what, like some kind of like wannabe the ghetto-ness, I don't know, like, or wanna be hard, really. I guess we should say it's really her trying to act like she's all hard and everything, you know,
Oh,
like
yeah.
wanna be hard ghetto baby or something, or wanna be hard baby voice. Y'all, please don't take that the wrong way. We're not meaning anything by that. But that was funny. That was a good one, hubby. That really was. In my opinion. What do y'all think? Like, what'd you say it was again?
WWGB.
WWGB. Whiny. Wannabe ghetto baby. That could be it. Okay. And then for short, WWGB. So that's what we're calling that new character that Gypsy has now come up with, I guess. That was good, hubby. But okay, y'all, we are finally getting to post part 1 of Gypsy's parole update, where we've talked to her parole officer's supervisor, we've talked to the state parole board, we've reached out to the mayor type person in their parishes, or not in the parishes, but, you know, in her parish, the governor, the senator, everything. We literally have reached out to all of these people. So we're going to kind of go over, or we're going to start with what the parole officer and the parole officer's supervisor has said so far. So all of that is going to play into this. This is just part 1 of 2. And we had to split it up. 1, because we gave y'all our word that we would give y'all the update and post the update, but we didn't get to because, well, life happens, you know. I mean, we couldn't help it. But we do apologize, but we are finally getting it up now so that y'all can kind of know some of what's going on. And then we'll be posting part 2 in the next few days. We've already been working on editing that one while waiting to get the last bit of information that we're wanting to get to let y'all know and to tell y'all about in part 2. But we also had to do it in 2 parts so that it wouldn't be this one super, super long video with a lot of information packed it all into one video. But just to let y'all know, this will kind of be a little bit of a longer video with a lot of information. We just kind of separated it up a little bit to not make it so long, or not make it hours long or something, you know? Which, I mean, even part 1, it's not going to be hours long or anything, but y'all get what I'm saying. It would just be way too much information to pack all into one video. And like I said, we're still waiting on the last bit of information basically, we just wanted to go ahead and let y'all know the information that we have gathered so far. And just to let y'all know, we are going to be covering what Gypsy Rose Blanchard just done to Ryan this past weekend during Jazz Fest, posting his medical information, all of that, which we went over in a whole video, but we'll get to that later. But we are going to go over that information and all of that because we know a lot of y'all are probably wondering about that as well, and what her parole officer or his supervisor and the state board, all these people have to say about it, or what is going to happen and what's going to be done about it. So we are going to get to that as well. So we just wanted to let y'all know that, yes, we have talked to them a little bit about that, and we are going to be covering that as well, because that was huge. She broke the law. She broke a huge law, matter of fact. She broke a federal law by doing that. So we will be going over that. But real quick, we wanted to say that we truly, truly appreciate and love every single one of you. Thank you so much to all of you for subscribing and being a part of our family here. We truly appreciate y'all. We honestly do. And y'all, please make sure to leave y'all's thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. But if you're not already, please make sure you subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell, all of the things, and we would greatly appreciate it so very much. But this will be a little bit of a longer video. We're going to be showing pictures and some clips and stuff like that, some video clips and things like that go along with things that she has done and still is doing and all of that. So y'all can watch if you want to, or if y'all would prefer to just listen, that's fine too. If y'all don't care to see the video clips or see the pictures or anything like that, that's fine. So just to let y'all know.
Lovey, are you forgetting something?
Oh, and welcome to Night Combos.
Welcome back. Hubby's here.
Hey, hubby.
Hey, Lovey.
Hey, y'all. Sorry about that. I got caught up in wanting to let y'all know what we were going to be covering, and that, yes, we are absolutely going to be covering what Gypsy just done to Ryan over this weekend, and that this will be a little bit of a longer video and all of that. So I got caught up in that and forgot to say welcome to Night Combos. So welcome. And welcome to our new subscribers as well. Thank y'all so much for joining our family here. So before we completely jump in, we need to share a little bit of information with y'all. So this goes along with what Gypsy did to Ryan, and it also will answer some of y'all's questions, because we've seen where like 2 or 3 people had question about this and thought that this was only for medical professionals, and that is not true. But let's get into this. And this is just a piece of information that we looked into to know that we were speaking correctly and that we had fact-checked everything, all of that. We literally looked into the law in Louisiana. We spoke with a lawyer on the phone. We did all of that literally just to ask questions about this, to make sure that this information was correct. But as far as her sharing Ryan's medical information, like what medication he takes and why he takes it, or why he doesn't, or not why he doesn't take it, but why he does or does not, take that medication, whatever the reason may be that he takes that medication, her sharing that information is against the law. And right here it says, no, generally you cannot publicly post your spouse's medical information in Louisiana or anywhere without their prior written authorization, even though you are married. HIPAA regulations protect the privacy of a medical information, and even within a marriage, that privacy is generally protected. And it goes on to tell you why and the exceptions. So The Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, which is what HIPAA stands for, privacy rule, is a federal law that protects the privacy of individually identifiable health information, or PHI. This includes medical records, test results, and other health-related details, like why you take a certain medication or the medication that you take. And then it says at the bottom, without proper authorization, a covered entity, like a doctor or hospital, cannot disclose a patient's PHI to anyone other than the patient themselves. Now, the fields that hubby and I work in, our careers that we work in, and the education that we have gotten, we know these things, but we wanted to be able to bring it to y'all and be able to say, like, yes, this is a law that she broke, and be able to have, it be factual information. So this right here goes for ex-spouses. So the last photo that I showed y'all was for spouses, if you're still married. This pertains to ex-spouses, which we were surprised about the spouse one, like if you're still married, which we know that you can't publicly share your spouse's medical information, but we're talking about Gypsy Rose Blanchard here, one, and two, she did share it publicly. But people would maybe possibly say, well, she's his ex-spouse. It doesn't matter. According to HIPAA, you cannot publicly post your ex-spouse's medical information without their explicit written authorization. And for Ryan to say that he would sue her, I don't think she had his explicit written authorization to show his information, his medical information here. And yes, y'all, this does play into the whole parole thing and why we talked to her. Or not why, but what we talked to her parole officer about and what she did this past weekend. HIPAA protects the privacy of a protected health information, PHI, and disclosing such information to the public without consent is a violation of the law. Hear that part again. HIPAA protects the privacy of PHI, protected health information, and disclosing such information, like she did, to the public without consent is a violation of the law. And then it goes on to say, here's why. HIPAA defines PHI as any information that can be used to identify an individual's health status, such as medical records, lab results, bills, or even verbal conversations. So like me and hubby talking about what a lot of you already know about, me breaking my ankle. If he was to go and post my medical information about that publicly, that would be against the law. And then it says, authorization required. Under HIPAA, covered entities like healthcare providers can't share PHI without the patient's authorization unless there's a specific legal exception. A legal exception, and this is just a very light example. There's many examples out there, but this is just one that comes to the top of my mind anyway, especially talking about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. But say they're investigating a crime scene and they find blood at that crime scene and they have a particular suspect in custody and they need to know that suspect's blood type to be able to test it with the blood found at the crime scene. They may go to your doctor's office or a hospital you've been at or something like that, for example, to get your blood type. Even then, though, investigators and officers normally cannot just walk in and ask for any type of medical information that they may need to know. Like, they may need to know certain medical things that are wrong with you as well so that they can take care of those medical things while you're in custody. But even then, most of the time, not like 99% of the time, they would need a warrant and they would have to get a judge to sign a warrant, take it to the doctor, and then the doctor would release that medical information. Just like with my ankle, for example, as soon as I injured my ankle and broke it, I went to urgent care. Okay, hubby took me to urgent care. They done x-rays, and I'm using myself as an example, but they done x-rays. Then they told me to follow up with an orthopedic doctor. So when I called the orthopedic doctor, they said, okay, we'll get you an appointment. Can you get those x-rays sent over to us? I said, sure, no problem. So I called urgent care and I said, hey, can y'all send my x-rays to this certain particular doctor? And they said, no, we can't, because you didn't sign the release form when you were here. I thought I had, but I hadn't. So I had to go over to urgent care, sign a release form, giving them written permission to send my x-rays over. So a doctor could not send my x-rays to another doctor that they sent me to without my written permission. Okay, so that explains that part. So the last piece of information on this is where a lot of people get confused and they think that HIPAA is only for medical professionals. Like, no, it doesn't concern Gypsy. She didn't break the law because HIPAA does not apply to Gypsy. Well, it does, with her being his ex-spouse or spouse. Either way, it does apply to her. HIPAA doesn't just apply to medical personnel. It extends to a wider range of individuals and organizations that handle protected health information. These include healthcare providers, health plans, healthcare clearinghouses, and their business associates. And then it says that here's a more detailed breakdown who is covered by HIPAA. Covered entities. This includes healthcare providers, health plans, healthcare clearinghouses, and healthcare clearinghouses. Healthcare providers can be hospitals, clinics, individual doctors, etc. Health plans are insurance companies and other entities that provide coverage for healthcare services. And then it goes on to talk about business associates and all of that, and employees and the workforce. There is another exception where you can bring up your spouse's medical background. For example, in a divorce, you can bring it up to the judge. Like, say, for example, you're divorcing someone because they have some sort of mental health problem. And you're telling the judge, look, I just can't take it anymore. They won't go and get help. I can't handle it, So, this is also another reason why I'm divorcing them. Just for an example. I'm not saying that that's what Gypsy and Ryan did or anything like that. I'm just saying, for example, that could be another reason a spouse could bring up health information. Other than that, they cannot bring up their spouse or ex-spouse information, and they most certainly cannot post it publicly because that is against federal law. And y'all can see right here on this one where it says HIPAA privacy rule is a federal law. Right here. It's a federal law that protects the privacy of someone's identifiable health information. So, yeah, Gypsy broke a federal law. So, we'll find out what happens with that. So, first we're going to start with talking to her parole officer. Again, y'all, please keep in mind this is just part one. All of the stuff that happened with Ryan and all of that over the weekend at Jazz Fest, we will also be covering and getting into because we know a lot of you are probably wondering about that just like we were. So we started out asking him some questions along with letting him know some things that's been going on, of course, that is literally or has literally been out there that can be proven. All the things we are saying we can back up. So you can believe us or choose not to. That's y'all's decision. But we would never lie to y'all. And like we said, we do have proof of everything that we're saying and we can back it up. We promise y'all that. Some of this probably will piss a lot of you off, but hopefully answer some questions as well. If you have more questions for her parole officer or the state board or anything like that, please let us know in the comments, or you can email us with the subject line being PO questions at nightcombos2018@gmail.com, as well as your opinions about what has been said so far, because we are finishing up gathering information. So this is a quick clip from Lauren Cherie on TikTok.
This is breaking news. GRB's parole may be revoked. It looks like her actions over the weekend that caused a major crash out and spiral we've seen on TikTok may be catching up with her. GRB was spotted and did a TikTok and posted it from a Top Golf bar. But that's not it. Later, she was spotted at a script club where adult juice is served. Patrons reported that GRB was dancing and even at points exposing herself. Allegedly, her interstate compact PO and her parole specialist here in Louisiana have a meeting a month away from parole, and this could be a revocation. It is against her parole conditions to be in places like this. And after everything they've seen over the weekend, they understand GRB is spiraling and finally needs to be held accountable.
Y'all notice these 3 comments right here? I don't know how to pronounce this person's name. I'm so sorry. But this person said she is living with Ken, but yet they aren't doing anything. In her last live, which we have posted up on our channel, the one she did with Bree this past Monday, she said Ken's heading home. I don't believe she is living with her parents, but she's, quote, famous, so she gets away with it. Eye roll. Lauren Cherie replied with, and then she backtracked and said she's moving in with Ken when she's off parole. Yeah, okay. Lauren Cherie is right. She has a background working with parole and, or working, at a parole office and things like that, working with parole officers and stuff. So she's right. Gypsy's parole could possibly be revoked.
Yeah.
Because she had gotten away with so much all of this time and probably thinks she will probably thinks, well, I'm close to getting off parole now, so I can really do whatever I want now and be fine. But possibly not, y'all. The phone call started out with us and the parole officer. The phone call started out with us telling him that we were calling about Gypsy. And then the receptionist wanted to play stupid and be like, Gypsy who, Anyway, we said Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And then she put the parole officer on the phone. And he said, who are you calling about? And we said Gypsy Blanchard. And he asked us some questions and we asked him some. And we are basically just going to tell y'all and show y'all what was said and happened thus far, with this only being part 1.
He asked us if we lived in the area, as if that mattered.
Yeah, seriously. Like, do y'all live in the area? Does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. He then asked us if we had seen any of this stuff that we were telling him about. And we told him, obviously, yes, because it's all over her social media and her television show. Because I guess he was wanting to know that because we told him, no, we didn't live in the area. So he was asking, well, have you seen any of this? Thinking that we would say no. But we actually said yes, because a lot of us, most all of us, have seen a lot of this crap that she's done. But we told him yes because it's all over social media and our television show. He responded with, well, I'm not familiar with any of that. I don't get on TikTok. That's what he said, y'all. Can y'all believe that? Like, before we even said anything about TikTok, we had simply said social media, so that should tell y'all something right there. He also said he doesn't watch her show. So our thoughts are, okay, do you even supervise this parolee like you're supposed to? We then asked him about Gypsy being around pew-pews and alcohol, and he again asked, have we seen this? Y'all, we've heard that. And we're not talking about just hubby and I, but we're talking about a lot of us have all heard and seen Rod talk about having pew-pews and going hunting and things like that. So, be so freaking for real. Like, really. For Christmas, Ken literally bought Rod a camouflage jacket and a duck call, which you use for duck hunting. So, come on. So when he asked us this, if we had seen her be around pew-pews, that's what we said. And when he asked us if we had seen her be around any alcohol, we told him yes, we had seen her be around alcohol. It's been all over social media and her television show. Again, like, hello. This is Ken right here with Gypsy filming him with Ken holding a literal beer called Dos Equis. It's in a green bottle, has 2 red X's on it, hence the name Dos Equis. Here's Gypsy at Hooters, known for its bar and wings, chicken wings, and its bar. And her saying, my first time to Hooters with a pink heart. She's not supposed to be in any bars, according to her parole. This is from their Christmas dinner because Ken wanted to host the family's Christmas dinner at, his new house. He said, this is what I love about having my own house. I love hosting and preparing food and cooking and getting to host and all of that. So he cooked the whole meal, and Mia, Christy's mother, G-Ma, I think is what they call her, Gypsy, Ken, and Rod and Christy were all there. So Rod and Christy, Ken and Gypsy, Mia and Mia's grandmother, or Mia and Gypsy's grandmother, Christy's mom. But you see right here that Rod has a bottle of beer. And then you can see that Ken has a glass of beer, where he poured his beer into a glass. Rod apparently prefers his Dos Equis in a koozie. So we said, you allow her to be around alcohol, and he did not deny it. He said if the family has concerns, they could call. We all know the family is not going to call her parole officer. Or will they? What are y'all's thoughts? We do know the family has spoken with him before, several times actually. But do y'all think they will speak with him again? It kind of seems like the family just wants to hurry up, get through this, and get rid of her, in our opinions.
Yeah.
This guy right here, his name is Michael, sitting next to Ken, and he's a family friend. We said to the parole officer, Gypsy being around someone who said they were so high during the baby shower, all they remember is eating. And some of y'all may have seen a clip that Michael made and posted on TikTok and said this is for Flawless Nina. And he was showing himself in a hot tub and showing himself on a balcony with some buildings around the building that he was in. I don't know why it was for Flawless Nina. It was actually really weird. But we told him, letting Gypsy be around alcohol, and someone that literally said they were, partaking in smoking, green awana, yeah, y'all get what I'm saying. That they don't even remember the baby shower, and all they remember is eating. is a huge problem. And we asked the parole officer, are you denying that you allow her to be around alcohol and people that are apparently on drugs? And he literally said, I'm not saying anything. I'm just letting y'all talk. So again, we said, are you denying that you allow her around alcohol? And people that have claimed to be on drugs. And he said, I'm not going to answer that either way. So either way, one way or another, he would not answer. So what does that tell y'all right there? For him to not deny it or anything, or say, actually, no, I don't allow her to be around that. For him to not even say that and simply deny it, and then not say anything at all, what does that tell y'all? That he knows about it. In our opinions, that's what we think. He knows about it, and he does allow her to be around that stuff. We said she is getting ready to be off parole very soon. And it doesn't look good to be on parole making writs on social media.
No, it don't.
No. We asked him if he told her to just slide under the radar and don't catch any new charges or get arrested and she would be fine. Y'all remember, I'm sure a lot of y'all remember her little live video she was doing back last year where she said, right now y'all have me by the short and curlies and because I can't do anything because I'm on parole, but best believe when I'm off parole, you know, that video, yeah, making writs. And not to mention she's made writs since then, like with Ryan this past weekend. You know, well, she didn't really threaten Ryan this past weekend, but posted his medical information and stuff. But she has made many writs on social media since that video last year. So when we asked him about the parole officer telling Gypsy to just, you know, slide under the radar and don't catch any new charges or get arrested and she would be fine, he didn't say anything at all. He sat there completely silent, y'all. So we said, are you denying that you said that? He answered with, I'm not saying anything. Meaning he wasn't saying anything one way or another. He wasn't saying that he did say that, and he wasn't saying that he didn't say that. But if somebody tells y'all that they're not going to say something one way or another when you're asking them about a very particular thing, and they say, oh, I'm not going to answer, or I don't want to answer, most likely you know that they said that very particular thing that you're asking them about.
Yeah.
Like, what are y'all's opinions? Y'all let us know. Because that blew our minds, kind of. Not really, but it did a little bit. Y'all get what we mean. So, a lot of us have seen this, but for those of you who haven't, several months ago, Bree had a video posted on her TikTok saying that Bree, the one in this video clip, the one that's on the left in the white shirt, a lot of y'all know who Bree is by now, her supposed BFF. Bree made a video that she posted saying she has spoke to Gypsy's parole officer, her PO, for Gypsy, which is crazy because she also has Mike Stanfield, her now manager, speaking to the parole officer for her. But Bree said she's spoken with him as well as done his investigations for him so he doesn't have to do any work, at least not on Gypsy or on Gypsy's behalf. Bree did seem to be being like being snarky or sarcastic when she said that, but still, it's the point of it. And we know that she has said that she, being serious, said that she has gone up to Gypsy's parole officers office and actually spoken with him. And that happened when the whole thing came out about Bree telling Gypsy how to lie to him, which we'll get to. The parole officer said he has never spoken to or met Bree, and he knows her as well as he knows us right now. Which, y'all, he knows us better than Bree, I guess, if he's never spoken to Bree, because he's spoken to us like 3 times now. And that's from the last 2 videos we done on her parole, including this one. So 3 times now. So I guess he knows us better than he does Bree. Huh. So, wonder why that is. Funny that, Bree, that you act like you know Gypsy so well, and her parole officer too, and that you're keeping her out of all this trouble. So, that debunks any of that mess. Since the parole officer and our opinions seem to be wanting to play games a little bit, especially since, like we said at the beginning, he mentioned TikTok way before we ever did. When we were saying social media, he just up and said, oh, I don't watch TikTok or her TV show. Which was quite odd. It was quite odd, y'all. We explained that Bree gets on social media and defends everything Gypsy does, bad and good. We told him, remember when we told you last year that Bree is the one that got on social media and told Gypsy how to lie to you about talking to inmates? He denied knowing about that, y'all. We're telling y'all for a fact that he does have that video and has seen it and does know about it. And his supervisor has that video and has seen it and knows about it. We can tell y'all that with 100,000% fact. So we couldn't find our copy of this video clip that we recorded from August of last year, which, if you think about it, is not that long ago. But August of last year. So this one is Conspiracies at Conspiracy, T-E-A. A lot of y'all know who Conspiracy is anyway. But we're using her clip because we couldn't find ours.
Go ahead and show you guys the original video, but just know if you see anyone talking about this, the original poster did not mean to type Nick. She meant the other inmates. Here's the video.
Tomorrow, I guess. Yeah. Well, hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully they need, I don't know, I feel like they should have to need proof. Like, they can't just use a text. I feel like not even text message. They should have been, like, I don't know, somebody could have got hold of your phone, like, I don't know, something. Like, because people can use, there's, like, all kind of crazy phone apps and everything, girl. There's phone apps that can actually send you message, that you can, okay, so there's phone apps where you can type in, like, your number. Say somebody can download this app, type in your phone number, and then send a text to someone, and it'll show that it's coming from your phone, even though it's not.
Wow.
Yes, that's why I feel like there's no way they can send you back to prison on this. Like, I would even bring up that, but, like, I absolutely did never, like, I would be like, I would die. I would say absolutely didn't, and feel like there has to be a way that this text message was, like, falsified or whatever. I don't know. I would just fight for your life, girl, because there are ways. That's the reason I feel like at the end of the day, like, they would have to prove it, because there are all ways for people to do that. There are actual apps, girl, real apps that will show it.
This is Says Bree. That's what her account name used to be here on TikTok, and now it is Zaddy Don't Lie. She and Gypsy are friends, and she would basically post content to combat or debunk any negative Gypsy content. So, allegedly, this live stream is from last Thursday, where Says Bree went live on her YouTube channel while she was on the phone with Gypsy and didn't realize that she had started the live already. She's basically telling Gypsy to lie to her parole officer. Go ahead and show you guys the original.
So she has wrote on the screen right here, context. Bree didn't know she was still live. hence why her phone's going off, where you can hear the dings, and telling Gypsy to tell her PO it was a fake app or number.
Video.
Don't this look just like Gypsy, y'all? She's wanting to do her OOT day. Her OOT day. Her outfit of the day in prison. But it looks just like her, though, minus the blue eyes. Anyway, after we told the parole officer and his supervisor about the video and how we know for a fact that they know that we know they have a copy of it for a fact, he would not say anything. We then said doing these things and letting these types of things go over and over again is not going to help someone coming off of parole and going back into society. We asked him, would you not agree? He would not answer one way or another, y'all, as to whether or not him letting her, quote, slide under the radar and get away with all this would help her in society. Seems like to us that he maybe agreed, but
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, but didn't want to say that he agreed. But y'all can let us know what y'all think. And again, we guarantee part 2 is going to be way more intriguing than this info and even more informative. We then said, do you not think this makes the justice system look worse than what it already is? Of course, he wasn't going to answer that and throw himself under the bus. Absolutely ridiculous, y'all. We even asked him after that, do you think that any of this or what you're not doing is helping Gypsy become a better citizen for when she gets off of parole? Which in part 2, just to let y'all know, y'all will see that a few of these things we do reiterate to him again and get more definitive answers out of him finally. But when we asked him if he thought what he was not doing was helping Gypsy become a better citizen for when she gets off of parole, he just simply said he doesn't watch her TV show or know about anything that goes on TikTok, which was odd because remember, we had only said social media up to this point. We didn't say anything about TikTok yet or the TV show, only social media. Well, we did mention the TV show because we had talked about seeing her being around alcohol on her TV show. But we had not said anything at all about TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, nothing like that as far as social media goes. We had only said social media, which we do get includes TikTok, but we had not specifically mentioned it yet. Hopefully y'all get what we're trying to point out here and why it's odd. If not, keep listening and y'all will get it. We even tried saying we want Gypsy to do good when she gets off parole to see what type of response we would get. And not that we're saying we want her to do bad, it's just look what she's done the whole time she's been on parole. She's done nothing but break parole the whole entire time. But now we're actually talking about her breaking an actual federal law while on parole. So we can't wait to get to that and let y'all know about that as well. After we said that, we said she's a new mom and needs to do good and be working on becoming a better citizen. He didn't say one word. It was like he did not care whether she became a better citizen or not. But all of us out here in society, we care because we don't need nobody else unalived, okay? Seriously. And she's proven herself to be dangerous. For a while, we wouldn't even say that on videos because we didn't even want to, seem like we were reaching or go that far. But at this point, it has went that far. She is dangerous. and it's very scary that she has less than 60 days left on her parole. But he wouldn't say one word. This is his job, y'all, which is wild to us. Anyway, we didn't ask. We said, you allow her to stay at Ken's as long as she wants to, which is against her parole. Y'all, this is where it gets kind of good. She's even at Ken's right here in this video that she posted 3 hours ago. And keep in mind, she has been at Ken's since last Wednesday at least, that we know of.
So I am Taco, and this is my little Tequita. Ken has one too, and his is Burrito. Yeah. So I am Taco.
You're so funny, Gypsy. You're so funny.
Hilarious.
You're freaking dangerous. Literally. I hope someone's there with her while she has that baby. So when we told him that, we didn't ask again. When we told him that, he said, how do you know when she's at Ken's house? Then quickly changed the question to, how do you know how long she's at Ken's house? We said, because she literally tells it on social media and posts it all over social media. And we said, you could go look at it if you wanted to yourself. He then said, I've seen a lot of stuff on social media, and keep in mind, this is after he said he doesn't pay attention or watch her TV show or social media. This was literally filmed in the bathroom at Ken's house that they're renting. I mean, seriously. This was also filmed at Ken's house the same day when she said she had bronchitis, and then the next, not the same day, but then the next day she was feeling so much better, and she was showing all her drugstore makeup that she had gotten and done, and her self-tanner and all that. The parole officer then said, I've seen all kinds of stuff on social media, and it's all been BS and inaccurate. Does this look inaccurate to y'all? Does it look inaccurate to y'all when she's sitting on that dark blue couch at Ken's house when Christy and Rod have a white cream-colored couch? Very, very different. 2 different couches. Like, seriously, it's ridiculous. So when he said he had seen a lot of stuff on social media and it's all been BS and inaccurate, we said no, like we just said, we're talking about her social media and what she posts. Y'all, after that, he literally just said, okay, y'all, okay. Like, he knew he had no argument, so he just said, okay. I mean, this is what her bathroom looks like at Daddy Rod and Christy's house. We said again, we're talking about what Gypsy posts herself and what Ken posts, not anyone else. He got silent. So we said, we know a lot of things go around about Gypsy, but we reiterated that we were talking only about what Gypsy and Ken have posted themselves. We said both of them get on lives, and this is where we mentioned TikTok for the first time, saying that Gypsy and Ken getting on TikTok lives and says stuff and, we're saying that Gypsy and Ken get on TikTok lives and say stuff, and Christy does too, and it's like she's trying to cover up for Gypsy. We were meaning it's almost like Christy is, or at least was, trying to put out all of these fires, so to speak, that Gypsy would start on social media. It seems like here recently, Christy has given up, thrown her hands up, and sees that she'll be rid of Gypsy soon enough, and has quit trying to put out all of her fires, in our opinions anyway. It seems like that's what Christy has done. Which, I wouldn't blame her if she has.
No.
He stayed silent during all of that, y'all. Then finally said, well, none of us can predict the future as far as if she will go wild or if she will be a law-abiding citizen. Like, are you kidding me? Past actions predict the future. History repeats itself. We said, yes, you're right about that, but she is still on parole. He said, we have no control over it at this point, still talking about the future. Y'all see in this picture right here, this comes from that video where she said that y'all got me by the short and curlies and all that, but I'm gonna stay in my hot girl era, and if you don't like it, then y'all can just scurry on away. Yeah. But after him telling us that we have no control over the future, we told him again, yes, that's true, but she's still on parole, and if you would at least talk to her about it or something, it would show that the justice system does actually help people on parole and helps them for when they get off of parole and help them stay out of trouble when they get off of parole. Like not threatening people like she did in this video right here. Y'all, he literally just said,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just like that. Just like that. He literally just said, mm-hmm. Like, okay, dude, what's wrong with you? Seriously. We then mentioned how she's supposed to have a job and she's not working and not filming anymore or anything. So why doesn't she have a job or going to school? He didn't answer. So we asked, why are you letting her by with all of these things? Why are you continuing to let her get away with all of these things? Why are you not talking to her and saying, you're a mother now and you need to calm down and do the right thing so you can be a law-abiding citizen in the future? And we even said, yeah, we know you can't predict the future, but you could stop her now. He said, I can't control what she does in the future, y'all. Y'all, the guy acted completely ridiculous, like he was ignorant, and we know that he knows better. So we know he's not ignorant. After that, we said, you're letting Mike talk to you for her and y'all. He literally said, who is Mike? Y'all, he said, who is Mike? We were rolling our eyes so hard at this point. We even told him, don't play us like that. That was our literal words, verbatim. We said, don't play us like that, like you don't know who or what we're talking about. Here is where it gets a little good again. Y'all won't believe this. Well, maybe y'all will, but it's wild. So we played dumb with him and explained who Mike Stanfield is to him and that he was her public defender, but now her manager. And y'all, the PO literally said, I have no idea. I've never had contact with Mike. I don't know who you're talking about. Okay, at this point, our eyes had rolled into the back of our heads with our jaws on the floor. This is where we both said, come on now, stop playing us. Even if you watch her show, they literally show Mike talking to you, her parole officer. He said, I've never watched the show. I don't know what you're talking about. We couldn't hold it back anymore. And we just literally laughed at him. We couldn't help it. We literally just laughed at him. You know how when you're on the phone with someone and you can tell they're lying, or when they are talking and they have a smile on their face, you can kind of hear it in their voice? Well, that's exactly what this was like. So check this clip out, which is proof And it's also proof that we can guarantee you that the parole officer and his supervisor also have.
The management role, I'm also still dealing with a lot of the parole aspects of her case. So we have verified all of the permissions that we need for San Francisco State this afternoon. The management role, I'm also still dealing with a lot of the parole aspects of her case. So we have verified all of the permissions that we need for San Francisco State this afternoon.
This is when we said, are you really...
Blank.
Yeah, blank, her parole officer, because we know what you and your supervisor sound like, so we know it's you, so we know that you've spoke to Mike, and y'all can see right here, literally, look right there, it says Mike, Gypsy's manager, and y'all just heard him say how he was her public defender and now her manager. He wouldn't confirm or deny it, but they both have very distinct voices that are different from each other. We were tired of the games and said, if you've watched her show once, just once, which you say you count as her job, along with her social media, and you're supposed to keep up with her job, so if you've watched it once, you would know who Mike was, especially if you're really her PO, which he was. We knew we were talking to the right person. It's very easy to find him. We said, Mike is the one that talked to you to get her a traveling pass to go to California this last time, when she went for her TV show to promote it, and then she went to speak at SFSU, San Francisco State University. He tried to say, I don't know where y'all are getting your information from, but I literally don't know any Mike. Can y'all believe this? Come on. We said it is literally all over social media and her TV show. And when we say social media, we mean, again, what Gypsy herself posts or what Ken and Gypsy post. Because the family has said they can't control they can't control Gypsy or what she does and what she posts. Her PO just simply said, okay. Okay, dude, what the heck? Y'all, we could tell, and we're sure y'all can too, that he knows every bit of this and doesn't care, which is why we tried to go above his head and did, which we will get into a little more in part 2. Then, y'all, after his silence, we brought up Mike again and said, you're trying to say that you've never spoke to Mike, and Mike has actually said he spoke to you specifically about her travel passes. Y'all, that's when her PO told us that he really don't care who or what says whatever they say on the TV show, and he literally just stopped. Like, that sentence doesn't even make any sense. He just stopped right there, saying, I really don't care who or what says whatever they say on the TV show, and then he just literally stopped. It's like he's under some kind of contract, except he legally can't be, because it's 1, public information, but 2, mainly, that would be like bribing a public official, which is very illegal. At this point, he said, if you have any violations to report, then I'm more than willing to look into it. So that's when we said, okay, what about everything we just said? Her being around alcohol, possibly drinking herself, staying at Ken's longer than she's supposed to, which is 2 days a week, posting every bit of the proof on social media for the world to see, being around and living with pew-pews. He said, again, if you have anything to report, I'll look into it, but as far as anything that is on TV or social media is no concern to him. even if Gypsy and Ken post it themselves. That's where we have a problem, a huge one. He basically doesn't care what she does, period.
He said you can make a report and I'll look into it.
Yeah, you can make a report and I'll look into it. So we said again, everything we just listed to you, and there is so much more. But if you're going to sit here and say it's no concern to you, which it is because you're her parole officer, so you should look into it, then we don't know how to tell you how to do your job. Again, y'all, we did go over and above him and his authority, so make sure you stay tuned in for part 2. We're just saying, y'all will want to hear that as well, if not more. He asked us before we got off the phone, have we ever seen Gypsy with a pew-pew in her hand? And of course we told him no. Like, dude, that's the only thing you're worried about? The rest of this is serious as well. Don't y'all think? Let us know in the comments. We mentioned again about him saying he told her to fly under the radar and not catch any new charges and she would be fine. We asked him to confirm that and he didn't confirm or deny it. So that should tell y'all the answer to that right there. That he did tell her that. In our opinions. That's what we would think anyway.
Yeah.
But y'all let us know what y'all think. We asked him again, why doesn't she have to get a job? Because it's part, y'all won't believe what his answer was to this. We asked him again, why doesn't she have to get a job? Because it's part of her parole. Because again, he said, if there is something you have to report, I'll look into it. So he said, why doesn't she have to get a job? Is it because she's fixing to get off parole so she don't have to worry about it? She's not filming anymore. She's not writing a book. She's not doing anything. Y'all, the dang man said, again, what concern of that is yours? It's not any of y'all's concern. Excuse moi? Yes, sir, it is. We're public citizens, and that most certainly is a concern of ours. But he had the nerve to literally say, what concern of that is yours? Is it of yours? So if he has the nerve to say, what concern of that is yours, then that tells you right there, he's hiding things for Gypsy, which is very much against the law. But again, stay tuned for part 2. We promise you are going to want to hear everything in part 2, if not more than what y'all did in this part. Because we go above him. But since he wanted to know what concern it was of ours, we said, because she is on parole, and as citizens, law-abiding citizens, by the way, we want to know these things, period. We want to know these things. Like, verbatim, that's what we said. He said, the family has my number if they have any concerns. Mm-hmm. Like, what? It kind of got repetitive at this point. Although the last thing we said was, okay, so you just not concerned about a parolee not having a job that's supposed to have a job, or being around alcohol and pew-pews and possibly rugs, things like that. They are not supposed to be, as long as they are not picking it up. And he said, I never said that. Excuse me, sir, but you did. Mm-hmm. You most certainly did. We just told y'all that. He said he wasn't concerned about it. So we said, that is basically what you said, and you know you are playing games right now. Like, this is how we were talking to him. I promise y'all. We promise y'all. Verbatim, this is how we were talking to him at this point. Because it was getting ridiculous. He was acting ridiculous and being redundant. We're not kidding. This is literally how the conversation went. Then he just said, I'm just letting y'all speak. Well, what the heck? He said, if the family has nothing to report, then we can't look into it. Which is a bold-faced lie, y'all.
Yeah, it is.
He's trying to get out of his job. Because people can report it, like anybody can make a report, right?
Yeah.
See? Told y'all. He did say, though, everything that has been reported, like in the past, has been investigated, looked into, and handled. In our opinions, it hasn't been handled very well. Well, in our opinions, they didn't handle it very well, or Gypsy wouldn't have done the things she did in our previous video, unless maybe she was under the influence of alcohol and feeling brave and possibly being hyped up by Bree and the other 3 girls that she was with, 2 or 3 girls that she was with, which we'll link that video at the top of this description box for those of you who haven't seen it. Y'all really should watch that video because we show a lot of text messages and a lot of information that goes on and happens over the Jazz Fest weekend and the days leading up to it and all of that. And we're not saying she was drinking for sure. We're not saying that. But, yeah, just our thoughts. He also told us, without us even asking, we can't provide any specifics as to what is going on with her case, with Gypsy's case, which made us think something is definitely going on at this moment. But what are y'all's thoughts on that? And said, like I said, if you have anything else to report, you are more than welcome to report them so we can look into them. We ended the call by telling him she needs to stop making threats on social media towards content creators and other people, doxing them and violating her parole in every way. And that starts with you doing your job and holding her more accountable so that she would be a law-abiding citizen when she gets off of parole. And that includes making her go to her therapy, her court-ordered therapy. Not couples therapy, her therapy. With all that being said, though, we truly feel like Gypsy is going to reoffend and break the law. I mean, she literally just did it a few days ago. We apologize that this video ran a little long. I know several of y'all tell us all the time, it's fine, it's okay, like we love the longer videos, all of that. But still, we don't mean for it to be too long for other people who don't enjoy the longer videos. But we had so much information that now y'all understand why we had to break it up into 2 parts. Not to mention, we're also still gathering the last piece of information, like the last piece to the puzzle that we've been working on to finish editing part 2. Okay, y'all let us know what y'all's thoughts and opinions are in the comment section down below. If y'all have any questions or questions for the PO that y'all would want us to ask, or the parole board, or anyone that we're talking to as far as that goes, y'all can email us. Our email address is at the top of the description box as well. But please let us know y'all's thoughts and opinions on all of this so far. And don't forget, there is a part 2 coming with a little bit more answers to some of this stuff and some new stuff as well. But we appreciate y'all watching so very much. We truly do appreciate every single one of y'all. We love every single one of y'all and appreciate y'all being a part of our family and channel. We appreciate y'all watching this long video. And if you're not already, please make sure you subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss part 2 or any of our videos. Because they're going to be great. We have some great videos coming, in our opinions anyway. Mm-hmm. And you're not going to want to miss them. And we would greatly, truly appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts so very much. And we'll see y'all in the next one. And we hope y'all have a good night and God bless.
Have a good night and God bless.
Bye.
Bye.